Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Misty Meadows Moneyline. Today, we have a special one for you. We're going to be doing the recap of the Wildcard weekend games. We're going to start off here. We're looking at some coaching things going around the league, right? We have Bill Belichick just did an interview with the Falcons, okay? We're looking at Vrabel possibly going to the Patriots. We really haven't seen too much on that topic, but from what we can see, he seems like a good fit for that team. There's a lot of other coaches going around the league looking for job opportunities, but one big one was Dan Quinn, the defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. He was in the big head coaching talk for a job around the league. And after that Cowboys-Packers game, who knows where he's at now? But we kind of have to see where he's going to land, what's going to happen with him in the offseason, and what's going to happen coming into the next season for the Cowboys, but we'll discuss that in a little bit. What an absolute crazy weekend. I mean, we had teams that were supposed to have an easy win, not so much easy, but teams that were supposed to move on to the next round and like prosper throughout the playoffs. And sure enough, that did not happen. Let's start with this. I had all these games picked correctly. I had all 6 games picked. It was perfect. I couldn't believe it. I was sweating that Lions-Rams game, but the other games I was like, wow, this is actually pretty incredible how they were able to win these games against these good teams. Some notable wins: the Texans over the Browns. The Texans were an underdog by plus 110. We have the Chiefs. The Chiefs won against the Dolphins. That wasn't a surprise there. We have the Packers beating the Cowboys by a lot. I mean, 45-32 is an unbelievable score. So we have that score, that really, really big upset. We have the Lions versus the Rams. That was a sweaty, sweaty game. I mean, I was sweating out the Lions like crazy. The Lions came out with the dub. The Rams made it a close game. One of the best games to watch over the weekend. Then you had the Bills versus Steelers, which got rescheduled to Monday at 4:30. I was actually personally at that game. I wasn't supposed to go because it was on Sunday, but because of the weather, and the weather was pretty bad, they switched it to Monday at 4:30. What a great game by the Bills. Josh Allen really showed out, no turnovers. We'll discuss that in a minute. And the Bucs-Eagles game. My God, are the Eagles frauds.
Come on over here. No, you flipped me off. Come on, coward. No. Come on. You're not an intellectual. You're a fake and a fraud.
Finishing the season 1-6 is absolutely insane. Nobody expected it. Nobody. Moving in to the first game, we have the Browns versus the Texans. So we have our bracket set up. If you look back on the video we posted on Friday of me and Nick going over our picks for this weekend. I picked the Texans. He picked the Browns. Going into the game, you have C.J. Stroud, elite rookie quarterback. I mean, he's been playing out of his mind recently. Then you have Joe Flacco off the couch. Nobody expected him to blow up like he did in that game. I mean, he started off pretty decent, and he's been playing a great season. He's a great quarterback. The Browns really needed him now that they had Deshaun Watson out. But I will tell you right now, what an absolute fraud performance by the Browns. They came in, guns blazing, and just crumbled in that game. I've never seen a team lose that bad in the playoffs. I mean, they were just getting stomped on, just trampled over by the Texans. What a great game. C.J. Stroud having an amazing game. I mean, he played out of his absolute mind. I think he went 16 for 21, 274 yards, 3 touchdowns, 157.3 passer rating. I mean, he played absolutely insane. 45-14, absolute slaughter by the Texans. Moving on to the next round, playing the Ravens in Baltimore. We're going to be looking at a tough game, but we'll discuss that later in the week when Nick is with us. Okay, moving into the next game, we have the Chiefs versus the Dolphins. And man, is Tua a fraud QB or what? I mean, you have to be kidding me. Tua is literally... The Dolphins fans have been defending Tua no problem. They've been defending Tua. Okay, Tua is a good quarterback in games that don't mean anything. Tua, when you look at the games that they are winning against teams that are not good, you look at these stats, they're amazing. He's playing out of his mind. He's playing great. Great passer rating, completion rate. He's got the best completion rate in the league, tied for 5th in touchdowns. He's got some of the most yards by a QB this season, but it doesn't matter, right? Because then you look at the games where he's playing against good teams, the teams with the winning records. And let me tell you this, Tua Tagovailoa is a mid quarterback based on the stats of games that are meaningful. That was his first playoff game because last year the Dolphins made it, but Skylar Thompson was playing, and the Bills barely squeaked out that win. But that was last season, whatever. Tua's first playoff game, yes, you're playing in the cold. Yes, it's minus 27 degrees, wind chills, right? Yes, it's cold, but come on, guys. Tua is not all that great, but I think what is messing them up the most is the play calling. The offensive coordinator and Mike McDaniel are clearly not on the same page, and if they are, they're on the wrong chapter. They are on the wrong chapter, man. They are not playing well. They did not play well. They just absolutely threw away the AFC East Championship, and then they just threw away their first game in the playoffs. I mean, that was absolutely an unreal game to watch, just seeing how the Dolphins were crumbling. And personally, as a Bills fan, I feel bad for the Dolphins because I feel like they deserve to be in the playoffs. They had a great season. The Dolphins need to fix something. It needs to change. The play calling needs to change. You have the run game. You have the passing game. The defense is actually decent, but you were low. You had a lot of injuries going on before that game. Like going into that playoff game, you had like 6 really notable defensive players out. With that, the Chiefs came in to their own stadium. They stomped the Dolphins right out, beat them in almost every stat. I mean, it was just, I knew the Chiefs were winning that game. There was no way that the Dolphins were going to be able to win that game. That was a game to watch, quite the game, but there's some changes that need to be made in the Dolphins coaching staff and what their play calling needs to be for next season. Going into the next game, all right, we have the Packers versus the Cowboys. And oh my God, America's team blew up. America's team should not be America's team. This is an absolute fraudulent franchise, okay? Jerry Jones, he knows what he's doing, but he doesn't at the same time. And it's really confusing to explain that, but like Mike McCarthy, he did fine play calling, right? He was fine. The thing that blew up was, yes, the defense, but oh my God, Dak Prescott, what are you doing? Like, he literally has no idea what's going on that field, and he's just throwing up passes like they're going to be touchdowns automatically. It's just absolutely unreal. I don't understand it. I think it should stay how it is. I think the Cowboys stay with who their coaching staff is. Dan Quinn on the defense. I think it was like a fluke game for him, but man, that's not the time to have a fluke game. Jordan Love, basically the same stats that CJ Stroud had. He went the same, 16 for 21, 272, 3 touchdowns, 157.3 passer rating. The Cowboys defense made the Packers offense look like a Super Bowl caliber team. You don't see that from the Packers. Jordan Love is not in his rookie season, but it's his first year starting. He started off rocky. He didn't start out too well, but you move into the later in the season and he's playing out of his mind. I mean, he was up there with Dak Prescott since week 10. Since week 10, Dak Prescott and Jordan Love had such similar stats. The only thing that was different was like 2 touchdowns and a pick on each side. So they did not count Jordan Love out, and what a win by the Packers. I was rooting for the Packers all the way. I had them in my parlay in a single game. Did they just expose the Cowboys? Like, the Cowboys, they should have won that game. There was so much pressure on them, though, that they just crumbled. They couldn't do it. And what an absolutely insane game. Not utilizing Tony Pollard enough. Dak Prescott with the horrible decisions. Just, dude, the Packers defense showed up. They showed up. At the end of the game, they got a little rocky, but I believe that to be the reason being that they didn't show up at the end was because they knew they were going to win. I mean, there's no way you come back, like, down, 30 points. That's just unreal, especially if you're the Cowboys. Just an absolutely insane game. So I guess we're going to kind of have to see what's going on with the coaching staff and the players that are going to stay on that team. But man, what a good team that got knocked out in the first round. Again, absolutely unbelievable how this just keeps happening. Moving into the next game, we have the Lions versus the Rams. And this may have been the best game of the weekend. What a close game. Close stats-wise. Both teams played very, very well. It just came down to the defense. Both offenses were playing great. They were playing great, but it was up to the Lions defense to hold their lead, to hold what they had the whole game, and they did it. Matt Stafford comes in. All the Lions fans are booing him off the field. I mean, come on, man. He played for you for like 11 or 12 seasons. He had a great career in Detroit. And then he goes to the Rams and he wins a Super Bowl the first year he's there. What an unbelievable quarterback. But I will say, what a great game by the Lions. They really showed out to that game. Dan Campbell was absolutely electric that whole game, making great play calls. Jared Goff, no turnovers, not really any mistakes on offense. They just kept pounding the rock. Montgomery, Gibbs, great plays. Amon-Ra St. Brown with a ton of yards. Sam Laporta, he was playing well too. Glad that he was able to play and that he didn't have that knee injury. But man, I will tell you, the Rams, with that team that they have, that offense, they should have won that game. I mean, they really should have. There was a couple mistakes on that offense that they could have completely switched up. And I think that's Sean McVay's doing. I think Sean McVay's play calling wasn't the best in that game, but they did well. They just could have done better. They could have done better. So congrats to the Lions. Congrats to Ninja. Congrats to Ninja with his low taper fade. If any of you guys have seen that.
Imagine if Ninja got a low taper fade. Imagine if Ninja got a low taper fade.
With his low taper fade. Congrats to the Lions on moving into the second round. Another home game for him at Ford Field. So back-to-back games for the playoffs for the Lions in Ford Field in Detroit. So what a great first 4 games that we just talked about here. We're going to be moving into my personal favorite, the Bills versus the Steelers game. Now, I will say, like I said before, the game got moved. Everybody was ripping on the Bills fans, on the governor. Everybody was ripping on the team. You clearly didn't see the weather. I mean, the weather was obviously horrible. Like, you look outside, you can't see the house across the street. I live in Orchard Park. I should know this. I'm sitting here and watching all these tweets come out about all these people just ripping on the Bills for it. Like, come on, guys. Like, give them a break. You can't see the field. There's no reason why they should play the game. Move the game to Monday at 4:30. I was able to get some tickets. Went to the game. Electric. You got people jumping on flaming tables. Witnessed that firsthand. That was unreal. You got a great game played by Josh Allen. No turnovers. No turnovers. Just absolutely pounding the secondary. Pounding the secondary, because you got Josh. If he's not turning the ball over, he's playing an amazing game. No turnovers equals Josh Allen just an amazing game automatically. The Steelers shouldn't even been in the playoffs in the first place. Let's be completely real here. You got Mason Rudolph in the backfield. Jalen Warren and Najee Harris, they did like nothing, man. Like, it was just unreal. And their defense was playing great until Joey Porter Jr. went out. And then they just crumbled from there. I mean, even before that, they weren't playing that well. It's just like, man, like, that was an easy first round win. I wasn't nervous at any point in that game, and that's because of Josh Allen. You know, the Steelers would go into cover 2. Josh Allen would wait. He'd look left. He'd sling right after he looked left in like 0.5 seconds. I mean, come on. It's just every single time Josh Allen had the ball. And not to mention that 52-yard run, man.
Josh steps up, and he's going to get the first down. Oh, and there he goes. No one's going to get him. Incredible. Breaks it for the touchdown.
It was absolutely elite. Congrats to the Bills on that win. Steelers, Cancun on 3. 1, 2, 3. Cancun. All right. That stinks, but whatever. It is what it is. Mike Tomlin, masterclass, not in the playoffs. The last game we have here is the Bucs versus the Eagles. Fraud alert. Like the Cowboys and the Eagles losing this week on fraud alert. I mean, that is unbelievable. How do you go 1-6 to finish off? And here's the thing. It's not even that Jalen Hurts is like that bad. Like, he's still a good quarterback. But the play calling, Nick Sirianni, ever since that Chiefs game, where he's like, yeah, Chiefs fans, I don't hear you now. Ever since then, they've gone 1-6. 1-6. Nick Sirianni, that's the problem. That is your problem. You have problems on offenses like crazy. On their offense. A.J. Brown being out, yeah, that sucks, right? That's really bad. But come on, that's not going to win you the game. A.J. Brown is single-handedly not going to win you the game. So you cannot make that excuse. You have a good defense, and that defense crumbled. There were so many missed tackles, missed opportunities in that game, and Baker Mayfield was just dotting you up like he was in prime Oklahoma. Wow, it was absolutely unreal how Baker Mayfield played. He played so well that you should count him for that game MVP. He was out of his mind. And congrats to the Bucs on winning that game. They were playing out of their minds. Great plays all around. awesome offense, awesome defense. Really just played an outstanding game. So congrats to the Bucks, and thank you for finishing out my parlay. I went 6 for 6 this weekend. Didn't think that was possible, but I did it, and I'm happy I did it. Congrats to me. Thank you. So yeah. So this was a little recap of Wildcard Weekend. If you guys want to see anything else, hear about anything else, just let us know. It was just me today. Nick is working. There's a snowstorm rolling in, so we'll be getting some edits out in the next couple of days. So let us know what you want to see for that. And I hope you guys enjoyed this little recap session of the Wildcard Weekend. Our divisional matchups video is going to be coming out on Friday, I believe, because there's games Saturday and Sunday. So congratulations if your team is in. Let's have a great week. Let's focus on the next week. If your team lost, sorry, better luck next year. Next week, big week. Lot of great matchups, okay? A lot of great matchups. So hey, thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. Peace.